I am Jack's podcast, and welcome to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood, where we talk about a movie that we are not supposed to talk about. In fact, we're going to do this for the entire episode, just not mention the movie by name. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right,
Sounds good to
sweet.
me.
So I am Lugia, and these are my two other members.
My name is Patrick. I have been here for 57 episodes. Wait, what episode number is this?
I think this is 57, yeah.
Ah, yes. All right, yes. My 57th meeting. Hi.
I mean, technically you missed the second one, but yeah.
And the 17th one.
Okay, so my 55th.
There you
Whatever.
go.
Okay. Yes, this is Red Drum Arts. I believe I've been here every episode.
Yes,
So,
you have.
I probably was gonna miss one, but we just postponed it. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's get into the news.
We've established previously 2022 is the year of Pinocchio. We got like 4 Pinocchio movies coming out. I think 2 of them already did. But we still got the Guillermo del Toro one coming to Netflix later. And around the same time, we got a remake of the Disney movie by Robert Zemeckis. And this is a trailer for that one.
Good
Just a
old
teaser
Zemeckis.
trailer, though. Very little Pinocchio in it, though.
Yeah, but I like how Pinocchio, like the CGI looks like the cartoons and not, usually what you expect from Zemeckis animation.
What were we expecting? Motion capture Pinocchio?
Yeah, I
don't
figured it's something uncanny.
I don't know. Zemeckis hasn't made a motion capture movie since 2011, I think.
That Welcome to Marwen thing though, you definitely use like the tech.
Yeah, but I mean like a fully motion capture. That's pretty much dead.
Yeah, but I figured like this movie would be along the lines of Welcome to Marwen because clearly half of it was live action and.
Maybe. I don't know. I will say Tom Hanks as Geppetto is actually a pretty good casting choice.
Oh, that's Tom Hanks. Couldn't even recognize him with all that makeup.
Yeah, Zemeckis and Tom Hanks, they go together like bread and butter. They do a lot
Yeah.
of stuff together.
Even though Tom Hanks wasn't in his best 2 movies. Huh? How about
Yeah.
that? He was
And
in all
also-
of his other good movies, but he wasn't in Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And those are his best movies. I stand by that.
One thing that stood out to me about the teaser is that the fairy is a black woman and she is bald.
The bald thing, I heard about that. Yes.
I did not hear about that.
I found
pretty
it
cool,
interesting that I found out she was bald before I found out she was not white.
I appreciate the inclusivity. Is that
Yeah.
the right word?
I
Yeah?
think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Everything else, I don't know.
Zemeckis doing a Pinocchio movie, it feels like weird because him and like Spielberg are very similar directors and like AI already exists. I'm like, huh, interesting. Could be
Yeah.
cool. What's Strange
Could be.
World?
Strange World. Okay, this trailer just dropped like an hour ago. This is the next movie from Walt Disney Animation.
I see.
It's about a family of explorers who come across a strange world. And it gives off very Croods vibes. It very much looks like the Croods.
When I heard Strange World, I thought of, for some reason my brain went to that like Lucasfilm animated movie, like Epic or whatever it was called.
Strange Magic.
That's what it was.
That's
Yeah.
That's the one. How do you get magic from world?
The world is full
Shut
of
up.
magic.
Yeah, but no,
It's a magical world.
This is completely different.
Or it's a strange,
this
strange,
is-
strange, strange world.
Wasn't there this
Yeah.
anime movie called Epic though? Like I could have.
There
There
was.
was.
That was from Blue Sky Studios.
Oh, okay.
That was like 2009, I think.
13.
No, it was
2013.
2013. Yeah, I do not remember that movie. I didn't see it.
I
but-
saw it
I saw
once.
that movie. I saw it in theaters, and I saw a bit of it on DVD, but I have not seen it in full since I saw it in theaters. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
aesthetically that and Strange Magic are very similar.
Yeah. So when I saw the Strange World like promotional image, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought it was a video game. It looked like that It Takes Two video game. Like this does not look like a movie to me. It looks like a video game. I want to play this. I don't want to watch it.
I don't know. It looks
But,
colorful. Looks like it could be fun. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney's on a pretty good track record right now, at least with their animated stuff.
Are they? I don't like the last few.
I don't know. I mean,
I guess
haven't
in
se- I
terms of
haven't-
general consensus, yeah.
I guess I don't know. I thought Encanto was great, so let's see what.
Oh, yes,
let's see what we can do.
Encanto. That was the last. Okay, yeah, Encanto was great, but I did not like Raya, Frozen 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. at a
I've
bad kind of
I
run
have
lately.
not seen Raya. I can't comment. I thought Frozen 2 was okay. I thought Ralph Breaks the Internet was okay. Again,
Moana and Encanto were pretty good though. So
again,
I guess the lesson
prior
is
to Encanto, the last Disney movie from Disney Animation that I really enjoyed was Zootopia. Everything else between that was either good or just okay to me.
oh, you didn't like Moana?
Moana, I wasn't crazy about it when I first saw it. When I saw it the second time, I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I think Moana's okay, but pretty solid for all things considered.
I don't know.
Anyway, now it's time to talk about the real animated movie that people care about, and it's Beavis and Butthead is coming back for a movie. So I believe this is the second Beavis and Butthead revival because there was the MTV had a revival season about 10 years ago, and that was actually pretty good. So yeah, uh, I'm looking forward to it. Beavis and Butthead is surprisingly one of the few long-running series that is just very consistent. You guys a fan of Beavis and Butthead?
I wouldn't say I'm a
I,
fan. I do know of them.
I saw one episode a long time ago.
Okay.
I am not the guy to talk to about Beavis and Butthead.
I'd recommend the movie. It's like it works as its own thing. So yeah, just watch Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I guess watch the upcoming sequel, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
That's kind of a leap, isn't it? Going straight from America to the universe.
I mean, isn't America basically the world? So like, yeah,
Yes,
universe
I
is
don't
like the
know.
next step. Whatever.
I don't know.
The comedy Beavis and Butthead Do America is that like basically the movie was just them wandering into like a completely unrelated movie plot that was like almost a gag with them. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
I came across this animated film called Oni Thunder God's Tale, and I thought it looked pretty interesting. It's coming to Netflix, and here I dropped a link so you guys can see the trailer. But I think it looks pretty cool. It's got like a little this sort of stop motion, Japanese influenced. I guess Kubo and the Strings is like the first example I can think of. Obviously, different mythology, but like similar aesthetic sensibility. So I think it looks pretty cool.
It looks pretty
Um,
interesting from what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
yeah,
looks
it's
neat.
nice that Netflix hasn't axed all their good animated ideas, and Netflix is like, we're gonna destroy everything, but stop motion. Nah, we fuck with stop motion. So Del Toro and this guy, they stay, but the rest go. Now this isn't exactly animation related, but it is art related. The Mona Lisa got pied in the face, or caked in the face, I guess is
Jeez,
more
the
accurate.
world
I
is
heard
such a
about that.
mess. Guys, the world is such a mess. Even the Mona Lisa is falling apart.
There's actually glass over the Mona
You guys get
Lisa,
my
so
reference? That was a line from the movie.
I know.
Yeah, but you had no reaction to it. I just wanted to make
We
sure
did
it didn't
not
go.
talk about. We
I
did
just
not
wanted to
talk
make
about
sure it
it.
didn't go over your head.
Yeah. How am I gonna like be like, aha, I
You
get that.
can acknowledge. You can acknowledge the movie. You just can't refer to it by name.
Okay.
That's the rule we established.
All right. Fine. Anyway, so the Mona Lisa actually has like glass over it, so it didn't get damaged or anything. They were
I
just
know.
they just wiped it off, but it's still kind of funny that some and the person that vandalized the Mona Lisa like dressed up as like an old lady.
I heard the reason he did it was to bring awareness to climate change, which
How does that
okay.
correlate?
I guess because
They
it's
don't
such a
correlate.
ridiculous thing that has no connection that it just makes you think about it.
I think it's because like most people are gonna ask why the hell did they do it? Because like I feel like a lot of people are curious about why he did it. I mean, it made you look it up,
Yeah.
so mission accomplished, I guess.
Again, there's such a lack of correlation that it sticks in your head. So, mission accomplished?
Yeah. Anyway, it's now time to talk about oppression.
I got this one. I got this
Yes.
one. So,
As
we got
gamers,
a first glimpse at Sonic Frontiers gameplay, and people are underwhelmed.
yeah, I don't know. It looks mechanically sound, but I'm not like impressed by the gameplay. It looks fine enough,
I need to see
Could be-
more of it if I want to be fully convinced, because they didn't really show a whole lot, and what they did show was pretty boring. The combat
Yeah, I
doesn't
guess
look
so.
great.
Like
A
it
A
looks
lot of the
functional.
grind rails and springs just look like they're there just to be there. Like there's no purpose to them.
Sonic and Unreal Engine. Sega hired this man.
I don't mean this is a bad thing, but This reminds me of Sonic 06 mixed with Rise of Lyric mixed with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Open world like Rise of Lyric, combat like Rise of Lyric. Even the colors kind of remind me of Sonic 06, like the kind of
Yeah,
dark
it's going for like this sort of
colors. And
realistic thing.
open world,
Like
also Breath of the Wild.
the aesthetic thing with I don't know if you remember the initial Sonic 06 teaser trailer, but like this looked like that.
This is coming from someone who doesn't hate Rise of Lyric.
But yeah, this it looks like it looks like a functional game, but it just looks boring, which I guess was the problem with like what was the last Sonic game called again?
Forces.
Sonic Forces. Like that game wasn't glitched or anything, it wasn't broken, it was just dull. And it feels like this definitely looks more interesting since it's changing up like the formula a bit, but like I don't know, it just doesn't look that interesting.
I think I like Sonic Forces more than most. It's definitely not great though, but I mean,
So
it's got some good stuff. I
yeah,
will stand by that.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm very mixed on like 90% of the video game announcements that were made this last week. Another one. So me and Lugia here, we're both Resident Evil fans. Now they announced a Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, I'm just gonna give you my brief thoughts on Resident Evil 4 in general. It is one of the very few perfect video games out there, and there is literally nothing you could do to the game to make it better. What's your opinion of Resident Evil 4, Lugia?
Well, I'm pretty much on the same boat when I say Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I play the fuck out of it, but from what I saw in the trailer, they're kind of just hitting all the notes. Leon goes to a Spanish village to find Ashley. You see Sadler for a bit. It's got the general plot down, at least for the very beginning. Who knows? They might change it halfway through. I'm hoping that this is different. I don't want it to be second verse, same as the first. I want this to be more or less its own thing, considering that
Resident Evil 4 has not aged at all. Like, even visually, it looks still pretty good, so you can just...
If you're trying to follow up
play the
on
original.
What a lot of people say is like one of the best video games ever made, it's probably going to fall flat.
The only reason I'm slightly interested, only because the trailer looks to have like a much darker tone to it, so I'm thinking maybe they might lean into horror a bit more.
Well, here's the
Like
thing.
the original's like the action version, and this one's more of like a horror take on Resident Evil 4. I'm like, all right, that could work, because like the Resident Evil 2 remake was a bit more action-packed than...
Well, no, that's the thing. The original Resident Evil 2 remake trailer was promoting itself to be like this new horror experience, and like you said, it was more action-packed, so who knows?
Alright, fair enough. We'll see, I guess, but yeah, this is either gonna be the most pointless remake ever made, or possibly an interesting twist on a good game.
Again, my hope is that it's just different, and it stands out as its own game.
Yeah. They also announced Street Fighter 6. Gunning for a more realistic style. The gameplay doesn't look, it looks like Street Fighter, so whatever.
Did you hear about the controversy surrounding one of the characters? Zangief got pants.
Oh,
what?
That's the controversy. Okay,
No.
There's a couple controversies then.
No, it's not. But,
Okay, the controversy is, Ken, apparently his storyline is that, his wife left him and took his kids. So people are like... There's just been a bunch of Ken memes. There's like, she took the kids, Ryu. She took the kids. They both look like bums, but the story is like Ryu's been training, and that's why he has this disheveled look. And Ken's backstory is just his wife left him, so he just let himself go. And I'm like, that's really
when
funny.
I first saw Ken, I didn't think that was Ken. I thought that was Terry Bogard with his Garo Mark of the Wolf's design. And as soon as I read who the character was, I'm like, wait, that's Ken? What the fuck?
Does any other Street Fighter game deal with relationship issues?
I'm sorry, just Ken's wife leaving him is just so funny.
I'll take that as a no.
No. Some people don't like Chun-Li's new design, and I think there's some controversy. You're joking about Zangief getting pants, but I think Cammy got pants, and some people don't like that.
Of course they wouldn't.
Yeah, although like Cammy still like looks like Cammy. I don't know. She looks fine. It's a very small set of people complaining. But yeah, Street Fighter 6. It's another Street Fighter game. I don't think it looks that great. I mean, the last few Street Fighters haven't been that good, but like, whatever. Could be interesting. More Pokemon news. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to be following the footsteps of Legends Arceus and going to be sticking to the traditional formula. But at least this pig is pretty cool. Look at this pig, Patrick. Look at it.
Ah, yes, I've seen that pig on Instagram.
It's called
Lechonk.
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 Yeah, this isn't the French region. We already had the French region, so I don't know why. This is Spain, but whatever.
Is the joke?
I think
does the
his
joke
name
all
is
stem from
actually
the
supposed to
name
be
or the
pronounced
design?
Lechonk, but Lechonk sounds funnier.
Since it's in Spain, it probably should be called El Chonk, but whatever.
El Chonko.
Yes, El
Nah.
Chonko.
Let's not forget the best
Um,
Pokemon created, Smoliv.
What?
Small olive. Genius.
Small olive.
Oh,
Does it
yeah.
actually look like an olive?
Kind of.
Kinda. Here it is. Here's the
So-
3 Pokemon they announced.
Oh yeah,
So-
that does kind of look like an olive.
The Pokemon that's basically just
Very sad and
Peach.
disturbed olive.
and we got this generation's Pikachu because every generation has a Pokemon that looks exactly like Pikachu. Because Pikachu is a mascot, so like every region gets their own Pikachu.
Pichu, Plusland Minun, Pachirisu, fucking
Emolga,
Dedenne.
Dedenne, and
I forget what the one in
I think that was just
Gen
a
7's
Alolan
called.
Raichu.
No, not
Alolan
Alolan Raichu. There's another one. It's
Oh,
white. It's
yeah, the gray
chunky.
one, yeah.
I forgot his name though.
Pokemon Pikachu. Togedemaru.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then
that's
you
his name.
got the Morpeko for the last generation where he gets hangry mode. I don't play Pokemon anymore, but it looks
Oh shit!
I
Wait,
like the
how could we forget
designs.
the best Pikachu clone of them all? Mimikyu, a literal
Yes.
Pikachu fanboy.
yes, Mimikyu. I'm convinced that Mimikyu is like a variant of Wobbuffet.
Kind of. He
Yeah.
does have some pretty disturbing Pokedex entries, if you're curious.
Yeah, I don't really play Pokemon anymore, but I think the designs are cool. The human designs are also pretty great, usually. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, everything so far has been kind of disappointing, so I'm going to talk about the game that actually looks just undeniably good. Final Fantasy 16. They showed a gameplay trailer. It looks fantastic. Really looking forward to Final Fantasy 16. By far the best thing. It looks like they're taking some influence from the Saga franchise. The gameplay's clearly got some DMC influence. I mean, they got the DMC guys to do the gameplay. So yeah, it looks really good. I even got friends that aren't into Final Fantasy. They're gonna check this one out because every Final Fantasy game is a standalone, it's an anthology series, so you can just hop in at any entry. And this one, open world DMC action, looks pretty fun. The main character's name is Clive. I don't know why Final Fantasy is choosing a bunch of really normal names for the recent characters. But yeah.
But what other normal
We
names
had
have they gone
Cloud, Squall, Lightning.
Yeah, and
with?
then
Is there a character
the-
named Zach? I think that'd be funny.
There
for
is a
some
character
reason.
named Zach. He's
There
not the
is a
main
Zach?
character, but there is a Zach, yeah.
He's like a main character too. He's really important.
I don't know why that's funny to me. Zach in Final Fantasy.
Well, let me tell you, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core is the game for you.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, the most recent Final Fantasy game, the main character's name is Clive. In the last Final Fantasy game, Strangers in Paradise, his name is Jack. Jack Garland, like the whitest
Jack
name ever.
Garland. Any relation
Yeah.
to Judy?
Nope.
Eh.
Look at him, generic white boy protagonist.
That's a Final Fantasy character?
That's a Final Fantasy
Yeah.
character.
It looks like he
That's
could be from any video game.
Exactly. That's why people thought like Strangers in Paradise was very funny because like they had like the most normal ass people as a main character, and like he was playing like Linkin Park, but he was like so over the top too. He was like, "I'm going to kill chaos," and then he pulls out his iPhone, starts blasting Linkin Park, and then he just slow motion walks out. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? He's like so serious, but like in a really campy way. Yeah. Anyway, that's the video
That
game
does it
news.
that does it for video game. We got 2 bonus miscellaneouses.
Yes, so on our podcast, we're gonna, I guess, advertise someone else's podcast. Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery are launching a new podcast this summer where they'll revisit some of the VHS favorites from the video rental store that they both worked and met. Roger Avery was Quentin Tarantino's writing partner for Pulp Fiction. Some people don't know this, but Pulp Fiction was actually written by Tarantino and Roger Avery. and they had a bit of a falling out because of some credits issues. But I guess they made up, and they're gonna have this podcast together now.
All right, and to end off the news section, Morbius, because of course. So Morbius, as we discussed last episode, Morbius has become just a gigantic meme, even bigger when it came out on digital. We've memed it so much, it came back to theaters this past weekend.
And
No,
it
really.
bombed. It still bombed.
It's like the only movie in the world to have bombed twice in theaters.
So they give us more. They gave us more Morbius. They gave us more Morbius, but
This whole decision by Sony to re-release it, it's very clear they don't get the joke.
yeah. See, I think what happened is that they confused. You see, Venom also got memed to death, but Venom's memes are like from a place of sincerity. People actually liked the camp of that movie, versus Morbius. People haven't seen the movie and are just making fun of the fact that it's really just such a nothing movie that it's like, oh, it'd be really funny if people cared about it because there's just nothing to latch on to. And that's the whole joke. And Sony was just like, oh, they're memeing it just like Venom, so they must like it just like they liked Venom. But no.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. This is a worse Venom.
People actually liked the ads a bit because the ads were kind of goofy. Well, that's the thing. The advertising movie is goofier than it was. But people saw right through it. Anyway, the other thing I saw was School of Rock the Musical, which was a play at our local theater that Patrick was actually one of the stars of.
Hi.
Yes.
Why don't you describe your experience working there?
This was the first show I have done in a major community theater. Everything else was either school related or like a small playhouse. So this was a much bigger scale than what I'm used to. I had a great time. I loved the people I was working with, and post-show depression is real.
Can I say though, I have
What?
never heard you scream at the top of your lungs like that before. That caught me off guard. Hell, I don't think I've ever seen you really get angry.
I don't get angry often.
A very mellow group of people. I think the only time we've ever gotten angry was no, not even angry, just like usually we laugh instead of getting mad. Like when we played Sonic 06 or whatever. He played Mike White's character, Ned Schneebly.
Schneebly.
Not to be confused with Jack Black's character who impersonates Mike Schneebly.
Ned Mike Schneebly.
I'm the real Ned Schneebly.
Yes, the real Ned Schneebly. And yeah, pretty cool. Neat that they got actual children and didn't just Dear Evan Hansen and get a bunch of grown men to play.
Well,
kids.
School of Rock, these are grade school kids. It's way harder and nearly impossible to convincingly get adults to portray grade school kids.
The thing that threw me off was like a 17-year-old played the principal.
Yeah,
I was like,
and I did not know she was like 17 until like midway through rehearsal. And I'm like, wait, what? No way. No way.
Who played your wife, Patty?
My girlfriend. I believe I was the second oldest person in the cast.
Who was the oldest?
The main character.
The guy who played Dewey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was like in his 30s.
He's married with a kid.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was just kind of hard to tell, like from the where I was.
It's fine. This was also the first show I've done where I've seen the original production on Broadway.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, saw School of Rock twice actually.
Was it like any real different from this one?
Not really. No, we didn't really cut anything. Basically the same book, same score, same everything.
Yeah, I noticed the plot was not really any different from the actual movie, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
My only experience with School of Rock was musicals. This and the Broadway one I saw a while back, and it seemed like it was note for note.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty good. If you get the chance to see a production of School of Rock, I guess check it out. 8 out of 10.
Yes, it's Always Sunny in Hollywood approved.
Yes. Anyway, time to talk about The movie that shall not be named.
Let's talk about the Bruno of movies.
Yeah, so anyway, this movie was a 1999 American film directed by David Fincher. It's based off the 1996 novel of the same name by Chuck uh, I have no idea how to pronounce that name.
Call him Chuck
Anyway,
P.
yeah, so the author, Chuck, first came up with the idea after getting beaten up on a camping trip, and he complained to some near campers. So when he returned to work, he noticed that nobody would mention or acknowledge his injuries, which is that scene actually sort of directly happened, and he just thought it was funny how nobody would acknowledge his injuries. Instead, they would just ask him like stuff like, "Oh, how was your weekend?" And it was like he determined that they didn't ask him because that was a degree of personal interaction that it would require personal interaction, and that the workplace didn't care enough to connect with him on a personal level. And basically this concept of societal blocking became the foundation for his novel. He was a fan of the movie, by the way. In fact, he thought the movie was better. So the cast compared it to Rebel Without a Cause and The Graduate because of the themes of conflict between Gen X and the value system of advertising. Studio execs did not like the film, and they completely tried to reschedule the marketing against Fincher's intended marketing campaign to reduce anticipated losses, and it fell short of expectations at the box office, which I found interesting because it did gross over $100 million, but I guess on a budget of $65 million, that's not too much. But it became huge on home video release, and it's now not just a cult classic, but like just everyone knows it. It's one of the most popular movies ever.
So, the basic synopsis of this movie goes as follows. A depressed man, played by Edward Norton, is suffering from insomnia, and he meets a strange soap salesman named Tyler Durden, and soon finds himself living in his squalid house after his perfect apartment is destroyed. The two bored men form an underground club with strict rules and fight other men who are fed up with their mundane lives. Their perfect partnership frays when a woman named Marla attracts Tyler's attention. And from there, it escalates quickly.
Yes.
Quickly and violently.
Yeah, there's a plot twist that happens that'll make you very confused. Should we just get into that right now?
Yeah, sure. So basically,
I guess.
Tyler and the narrator are the same person. This is a dissociative identity disorder story, and yeah, basically, the main character and the main antagonist are the same person, and he's kind of fighting against himself. And yeah, if you rewatch this movie through new eyes, it reveals some interesting stuff. There's also a lot of subtext with this movie. I know people already know about all the consumerist stuff, but there's also a lot of commentary about toxic masculinity and even just like homosexuality. Which again, each rewatch you find more and more things, which is probably why this movie has become such an enduring classic.
Now, going back to the plot twist, at the beginning of the movie, a few times you can see someone pop in and out for like a frame. Is that
Yes.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you pause it, you see it's Brad Pitt in his
Yeah, but
that
when you
red
watch the
leather
movie for
jacket.
the first time, you would have
Yeah.
no idea who that is.
They do.
Yeah, even
they do
the
kind of-
DVD. Fun fact: even the DVD, with the the FBI copyright warning,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it briefly changes for just a frame into a different warning and it's Tyler, basically just talking to the audience.
that's
But,
cool.
yeah.
Later on in the movie, they do reveal that he works as a projectionist and he likes putting explicit images in family films.
Yeah, so that's like
So it makes sense.
it's like a foreshadowing, basically.
Yeah.
Well, or not a foreshadowing, like a reverse foreshadowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a cool detail.
They I know actually visually I know they actually did a lot of stuff with film here. So like besides the splicing, but they also like tried like really hard with like some of the chemicals and processing to make it look grimy and shit, and like really amplify the grain and
The
whatnot.
gore in this movie, dear God.
Yeah, this
Suppose
is a really grimy movie.
Do we just get into our general thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Used to be just straight up my favorite movie. And I definitely think it holds up. Probably David Fincher's best film. I'm not sure. Maybe, but yeah.
Lugia? this was your choice, so why don't you
I
go
can go
next?
into detail later, but I just want to.
Okay.
General thoughts. I think this movie is a masterpiece.
I definitely enjoyed my time with this movie. It got a laugh out of me. It made me really disturbed. A little confused, but overall, I'd say it was a pretty good time. Although I feel like this is more of a psychological study of the narrator more than anything, halfway in.
I liked this movie for a first watch, but the first rule is don't talk about it.
But we have
Even
to
if
talk
we-
about it.
Now, even if we could talk about it and refer to it by name, I wouldn't even know where to begin, because my God, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Well-
Ironically, several like polls at the time determined this movie as one of the most controversial and talked about films of 1999, which I thought was kind of ironic.
I guess I
Um,
could start. You guys remember when we talked about Joker? I said that movie was Scream for this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more accurate to call Joker this movie of this generation.
Yes, that's actually my review on Letterboxd. I wrote this is Joker for 90s kids.
If you ask me to describe what this movie is, I'd say this. Take Joker, throw in the two main characters from Training Day, and the soundtrack and color scheme of The Matrix. That's this
Sure.
movie.
Yeah.
A lot of green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely call it one of the most important movies of Gen X. It was part of the 1999 Office movie craze, which is a very weird niche looking back. But yeah, a bunch of movies about Gen X office workers kind of rejecting that lifestyle because they found it oppressive conformance and just hated it. Matrix is another popular example. That's the most successful example of Matrix. You know.
And funny that this came out the same year as The Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. 1999 was
Yeah.
the most. 1999
actually,
just had a ton of these. It had this, Being John Malkovich, American Beauty,
Actually,
Office
99 was
Space.
not a bad year for movies at all.
Yeah, but it was
Lot of great
the
stuff.
year of the Office movies, the year where America, Hollywood just collectively said, you know what, fuck white collar work. This movie is very satirical in nature to a point where it, quite frankly, just went over a lot of audiences' heads. Nowadays, most people can understand that. Oh, this is there's multiple levels of satire. Tyler Durden is very much not meant to be idolized, but some people miss that because unfortunately, getting Brad Pitt at his peak coolness and peak secondness, very attractive to a lot of people. Brad Pitt. Here's the thing. In the book, Brad Pitt was Tyler Durden's character was that attractive, was that charismatic, but actually seeing it in practice will ultimately make people kind of just side with him accidentally, even though in like the book he's like, oh no, this guy's a menace to society, he's bad. In the movie, he's like, nah, this guy's kind of cool. So like ultimately, you kind of end up becoming one. A lot of viewers became his followers, even though that wasn't what you were supposed to get out of it.
I think it made the twist all the more impactful, though, if that means anything.
It did. Performances were great, movie's pretty funny too. This movie was sort of billed as a dark comedy.
One of my favorite lines was when his condo was destroyed. When he called the officer, he said, "That was not a bunch of stuff that was destroyed. That was me!" And his inner thoughts say, "I'd like to thank the Academy."
One of the lines here was actually this line always just stuck to me because I heard the backstory behind it, and the thing is after Marla and Tyler have sex, she says I've been fucked like that since grade school. That line was not the original line. The original line was I want to have your abortion, but the studio thought that line was too risque, so they demanded it be changed, and the deal was you have to okay, we'll change it, but we can change it to whatever we want, and you're not allowed to change it after that. So they changed it to the line that was in the movie, and the studio was like, no, that's even worse. We wanted to go back to the original line, but they were like, nah, too late. You can't go back in the deal. So yeah.
One of my
edgy
favorite
movie.
moments. One of my favorite moments was when it's raining and you see how it's just dripping into Tyler's rundown house, and at one point he just comes into frame riding a bike and says, "Hey, what are you reading?"
I found it funny when he like opened the
It
door
just
and he
caught
was
me
just
so hard. I just burst out laughing.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny visual gags. Like when he opens the door and he's completely naked, but he's wearing like a big, bright rubber glove. I was like, I don't know why, but that just kind of cracked me up. I was like, what the hell is going on in there?
Oh, I also love when the narrator first meets Tyler and Tyler gets up to leave. Now, a question of etiquette: as I pass, do I give you the ass or the crotch?
It's a very funny movie.
Oh yeah, very much. Very funny
Very
movie,
funny,
but also
very grimy,
a
and a lot of weird
Yeah,
psychological
this
stuff. It's
this movie will
very
make you
unique.
feel a lot of things.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's incredibly unique. You know, I'm never gonna quite see something like this.
All right, I'm just gonna get to the part that made me gag. When they found Bob dead,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and the blood gushes from. Ugh.
the blood, his brain gushing out of his head. Jesus, like that made me gag.
There were two parts that really got to me. One was the bathroom confrontation, where they find the guy and they tell him, "You are going to tell everybody everything is fine, or else we're gonna, with the knife."
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's thank goodness like they don't actually do anything.
They were
but just
about to
the
do that
implication.
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twice. That and this wasn't a violent thing, but this just grossed me out. It's when the narrator is brushing his teeth with like the dirty water. For
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
reason, that just like, despite everything else in this movie, that got one of the biggest reactions out of me because it was so disgusting.
Another scene that made me gag a little was when the main character was beating up on the blonde guy and he just wouldn't stop. And then for
you
a
mean
brief
Jared
second
Leto?
you see, for a brief second you
Also,
see
oh
the
my God.
result.
When they beat up Morbius.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Also, I forgot the chemical burn scene.
Yeah.
The chemical burn
Ooh.
scene. My god.
Yeah. I always really liked this isn't like a disturbing scene, but okay,
Yeah.
what are your favorite scenes, I guess then? I guess that was my question.
The fight scene between the main character and Tyler was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I also liked the scene where Tyler's beating up Lou, the guy who actually owns the bar.
Oh yeah. No, Lou's beating up him.
Yeah, and then it flips around.
I don't know if this is weird, but the scenes that I oddly stick in my head the most after seeing this movie many times is most of the interactions with Marla.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I think Marla might be like one of the best characters in this movie. Going through like this movie many times, there's a lot to her character, and I don't know. I think she's pretty great. I also found it funny how they intentionally like clean up Marla's look and make her look try to make her look like pretty or something. Once the narrator actually started being like a bit nice to her, I was like, huh, interesting. But yeah, obviously I think the ending is great. It's got "Where Is My Mind," which is like my favorite song ever. And it's my favorite song because of this movie. Actually, in fact, most people got introduced to that song because of this movie. In fact, it's so iconic that many other series with similar plot twists where the main character is this, it has become like a trope to play "Where's My Mind" in stories that about dissociative identity disorder because of this film. Mr. Robot season 1 had a similar twist, and they played "Where's My Mind" in the show, and it was like, oh, so they're self-aware, like, oh yeah, we know we're doing the Fight Club thing. I was like, yeah.
I did find it funny how at the beginning of the movie the narrator becomes addicted to support groups. Like he's not actually addicted to any substance or anything. He's just
Yeah.
like, no, I get sympathy from people.
Yeah,
like
he
this.
he based that off of something in real life too, the writer. So that was
So
interesting.
that was funny. And then when Marla starts doing it, then he realizes that's when he's like, I'm doing a bad thing, but if somebody else is doing it, if somebody else is doing that same bad thing, oh, it's wrong.
Another scene that stood out to me was when the narrator was beating himself up in front of his boss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All the scenes where the narrator beats himself up, I was like, that's just some good physical acting. And that's good foreshadowing too, because like, when he beats himself up and it's like so realistic, and then like later in the movie when we find out, he's the same dude and he was beating himself up the whole time, it's like, oh, interesting.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
Tyler could have been in that office that whole time.
Yeah, and also makes more sense that
people would be more attracted to a dude that's punching himself in the face rather than two dudes that are just fighting each other. Yeah, interesting thing. Well casted, well acted, well written, well directed.
Random question. Do you guys, I don't know if it's just me, do you think the narration got a bit excessive at points?
Not really.
With him saying "I am Jax," whatever, that got a
No,
little
No,
confusing.
keep going. No, keep going.
Not see. I thought it was like effective with like the monotone, him being like sad, pathetic,
But
sort
who
of
is
going
Jack?
over like a lot of
Are we supposed to
mundane
know?
stuff. No, Jack is like, well, him.
The narration was fine. It didn't bother me, but there were a few points where I do feel it wasn't entirely necessary.
Jack is like, I think, meant to be like an average Joe, like just like
Okay.
it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
I don't know. I was just curious what you guys thought.
It did happen. It was there a lot, but like because it was so consistent, it didn't bother me. I just got like used to it.
I felt like it was a pretty good addition to the story.
I don't know. I like it when narration
Especially,
is more
especially because the story is being told by an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, again, it didn't bother me. There were a few points where I didn't think it was entirely necessary.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I prefer like that the movie is like doing consistently versus like other movies which they only have it in the beginning and end, and there's really no point. So like, yeah, I don't know. I thought this was good. I'd give it like a 10 out of 10.
I would give this a 9 out of 10. I really want to see this again now that I know the twist and see what I can catch in the scenes prior. Because this feels like it would be one of those movies that would be enhanced on a second viewing because you know what happens after seeing it for the first time.
This is another one that I'm definitely going to rewatch at some point.
Great movie. You're going to feel a lot of emotions you wouldn't expect to feel, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy watch, but it is a worthwhile watch.
So if you like this movie, some other movies you can check out is obviously the Office movies I mentioned before, The Matrix, Being John Malkovich, Office Space, American Beauty. Honestly, I'd recommend Adaptation, the movie we saw not too long ago before. Maybe some other ones was Sorry to Bother You, Taxi Driver, Joker, There Will Be Blood. That's got a similar like built around two main characters interacting, a lot of tense emotion. So yeah, definitely recommend those. Maybe Falling Down too by Joel Schumacher. So yeah, like those movies, check out those. Is now your recommendation.
That it is. Okay. So, we're going to be moving away from this movie where, we can't technically talk about it. And with my selection, it's quite the opposite, because I have heard quite a bit of discussion about a certain individual. And I want to know just exactly what all the hubbub is about.
Is it Jared Leto?
No. I have no plans ever to choose Morbius, because we've established there's nothing to gain from it.
I wasn't thinking Morbius. I was actually thinking Suicide Squad.
No.
Oh God, no.
No, it's
he's
not.
He's barely even in that movie.
It's not Suicide
But his
Squad.
appearance is infamous.
It's not a Jared Leto movie, if that's what you're wondering.
Okay, good.
Okay, but
No, it might be. He's in a lot of stuff. He always just pops up like a jump scare.
no, I watched this movie already, so I can confirm
okay.
he's not in it. But yes, so in honor of Pride Month, I want to find out just why exactly everybody's talking about Jamie. That's the movie.
I don't believe I've
Everybody's
heard of that
talking
one
about Jamie.
before.
It's a very recent movie.
Yeah, it came out last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Musical drama. Okay, sure. Looks interesting.
Of course it's a musical. You know what? Why would I expect anything else?
It's been since Mary Poppins, since we last touched on one. And again, Pride Month.
Fair.
It seems appropriate.
Yeah.
This is one I've been curious about. And this is less Bye Bye Birdie territory for me and more Anne and the Apocalypse, because this is a musical I know nothing about, and it's also from the UK.
Well,
So,
looks interesting. I like how the first review on Letterboxd is, I can assure you, this film does not feature James Corden.
Oh, thank
I don't
God.
know why. Thank God. This is a new one. This is the first time I've been on Letterboxd and no one I follow has seen this movie. Interesting. So I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. Hell yeah.
All right, radical. This is the end of the episode. Its name
His
was
name
It's
was always
Sunny.
sunny.
Its name
is
was always sunny.
sunny.
Its name was always sunny.
Sunny.
Okay, we'll
Its
cut it.
name
We're
was
so out of
always
sync.
Sunny.
We'll cut it at 3.
Whatever.